Guys, thanks for being here. I've given myself a bit of a challenge in this video. I, for some reason, got on the thought of what is the best product from each brand at Walmart. That's where I usually shop for most of my makeup. I no doubt get the best prices there. So if we're talking drugstore, I'm very familiar with what's being sold at Walmart. And I made a list of every brand, and I started just jotting down the things I thought were best. Some I was very torn between items. Some the answer was just pure and simple. And I'm not sure everything's gonna amount to a full face, but I'm gonna try on what I'm talking about for the most part here so you can see it in action. Some things you might be able to predict, some things you might be a little surprised about. And I think the idea came to mind when I was using a Revlon lip liner, and I was like, you know, out of all the things in this brand, this might be the best thing. And then I thought, well, what's the best thing from this brand and that brand? So that's just how my brain works, guys. I'm going to start things off with Hard Candy. The best thing that I believe Hard Candy makes is their Sheer Envy Hydrating Primer. They actually make a lot of good primers, setting sprays, things like that. But this one that says 12-hour makeup grip, I think works so well. I think it truly is effective in improving staying power. I think it also adds some hydration to the skin. So I've already got my skincare on, sunscreen, all that. And then I apply this. It has that kind of light greenish tinge. It's a gel, you know, but it has that look of Milk Hydro Grip. And I do feel like it works amazingly well. And makeup just ends up looking so good on top of this. You've given yourself a little added hydration boost, but it's got that gripping element that people swear helps hold your makeup on longer. And I do always tend to have pretty good staying power when I wear this, no matter what foundation I'm pairing it with. I have used this one a lot. I think this might be my second tube of it. Highly recommend. Next, let's talk about Wet n Wild. My standouts from this brand are very easy to name. I do love their eyeshadows, their blushes, so much is good from Wet n Wild, but if I had to really name one star, I think it's the Photo Focus Foundation. For me, it's the matte version, but many people like the dewy as well. I wear soft beige. This may be one of my most talked about products in about the last year, I want to say. Just in terms of foundations, I keep coming back to that I keep addressing, and I just can't stay too far from it, you know? So I use the little spatula and I just frost myself with that and get everything off of it, and that's just the amount that I use. It's not very scientific, but that's it. And then Beauty Blender works fine, brush works fine with this one. Not too thin, not too thick. Really strong medium coverage, I find, is what I get with this. And absolutely great staying power. Look at how nice that is blending in. I don't feel like I've got too much on the skin, but it ends up working out just right. And the tone is just perfection for my skin tone. There we are, all blended in. I'm in love with this foundation always. It absolutely never lets me down. Drugstore gem. A couple of different concealers are coming up in this conversation. First off, Almay. I think Almay's best product is this Skin Perfecting Comfort Concealer. So it's a stick concealer. I have it here in light medium. Today I'm going to use this around my nose area, although this is also very effective on the under eye too. It's a really smooth stick concealer. It feels like a super advanced formula, you know what I mean? It's not dry in the least. It's rich and creamy. It has good coverage. It wears well if you want to put it up on the under eye area. Another really good drugstore stick concealer in that conversation would be the Neutrogena Hydro Boost one. It has a hydrating core. It's similar to this, but maybe even more juicy, hydrating, dry skin oriented. But in terms of Almay's best product, I think this is without a doubt it. So I'm going to go ahead, I'll just blend that in. Got that a little on the chin and the nose. Then I got another concealer to talk about that's going to end up going on the under eye. But either one of these concealers in this video could do it all. I'm just trying to feature both. And it's interesting how let's say eyeshadow. There are many drugstore brands that make a great eyeshadow, but is it coming out as the best thing they make? In this video, it's interesting to see that. There are going to be some other things coming out on top from individual brands. Next brand I'm going to mention is e.l.f. So I think e.l.f.'s best product is the Camo Concealer. Yes, lots of other good things. I love those blush duos with my entire soul, but I mean, if we're talking a really impactful product for the makeup routine, a really, really important important product that is doing something unique. I think it's the Camo Concealer, and probably even more than the regular version, it's the hydrating version. Like, that is a very special product in this line, and an important product, I think, to drugstore makeup in general, because it's providing the coverage, but it's not too dry. On me, it wears a long time. I think a key to using it and having success with it is not over applying it, but I have the shade Light Peach here, and this stuff, I've used the heck out of it, and we're just gonna use this as our under eye concealer today. So a couple little dots right in here, and a little bit out here. Don't need to go overboard, and it's gonna work great. Dab it in with a beauty blender or use a brush, whatever you feel. But it is a truly special product. Camo Concealer was a massive thing for e.l.f. And hopefully this video, like, if I mention a brand that you're really not familiar with at all, like, this ends up giving you one good starting point from each brand. And I would definitely not skip the Camo Concealer if you haven't tried that yet. See, look at that under eye. I mean, I had some darkness going on there. I definitely did. You know how I've got my chatty videos where I just kind of put my makeup on and go off on tangents and talk about different things? And I got my all business videos. This really feels like all business here, just because it almost makes me feel like Emily Awards a little bit. Like, we got a written out list here. It's serious, gang. There that is, all blended in. That shade, it's so nicely brightening. I feel like the hydrating has ever so slightly a little less coverage than the matte, but still both are way up there for me. Camo Concealer is a complete gem. I think many people would agree. Let's talk about Rimmel. Rimmel, I had two things kind of tight at the top here. I was thinking about the natural bronzer, but then I thought, you know, it's a great basic bronzer, a terrific basic matte bronzer at the lowest price you can find at Walmart. What's even more special? What's even more unique? I think it's the Rimmel Stay Matte Powder. I wear this in Sandstorm, and a comment I always have about it, you know, I'm kind of broken record with this comment, but the fact that this powder mattifies, but it doesn't get you cakey, because when you put your brush in, like, you almost wonder, did I pick any up? Like, there is no powder kick up at all. There's no thickness to this powder. It is a true 100% mattifying setting powder. It is not trying to be powder foundation, okay? So if you just want to set that T-zone, mattify certain areas of the skin just for staying power's sake, this does it. And I think it's pretty unique in that way. It's a powder I can definitely count on. The price is great. We're talking like maybe $2 and change at Walmart. And if you want to set your under eye with this stuff, again, you will never get too much. Yes, some is coming off on your brush, but it's always like a minimal amount, and that's the magic of the product, because it paces you. It keeps you from being too heavy-handed. It's like you can try to be heavy-handed with this stuff, but you just won't succeed. It's going to be a light layer, but it is definitely going to pack a mattifying punch in that light layer, okay? Even though I love the bronzers, that's got to be the most special thing from Rimmel. What I was going to do was have my whole face done and then just go down my list of brands as I come to them in the aisles of Walmart. But then I thought, you know, I've got a lot of different things here. I probably could apply most of them, show most of it. Let's talk Physicians Formula. Some of you might call me a cheater with this pick, but it's one of the smartest things I think Physicians Formula has done. And it's creating kind of a dream team palette of their products, because I feel like this particular one, the one called Butter Dream Team, was put together so well. 2 tones of bronzer, 2 completely different looking blushes, a really nice highlight, and a translucent powder that can be either very brightening or just very much something that will mesh in with the skin tone, you know? I have enjoyed this one so much. I know they've put out several different things like this, maybe even in collabs with other people and whatnot, but this one called Butter Dream Team, it says vacay mode on the inside. I really like what's going on in here. And unlike their chunky compacts, you know, their butter bronzer, it's a good product, but man, you know, the compact is like this thick and everybody complains about, yeah, I wish it was easier to store. Well, here you're getting 6 things in the most space efficient way Physicians Formula could ever give it to us. So yeah, I guess I'll just use that as my bronzer today. I mean, my favorite parts of the palette, they put in also, kind of funny I'm mentioning this, but they put in Saucy Mauve, and it's different from the standalone Saucy Mauve. I've said that before. I don't dislike it at all. I think it's beautiful, but I just think they should have probably named it something different. different, but I'll let it slide. The quality in here is great. It becomes this super easy all-in-one palette. You can use it on your eyes as well. I'm loving this bronzer down here for, you know, hitting the contours of the face. And if I didn't pick this product, I think I might have picked the Butter Blushes from Physicians Formula as their top product. They're really beautiful on the skin for if you like a glowy blush look. But here you get that, and you get, you know, another lighter take too. And we talked about rosy light pink setting powders on the under eye being all the rage, and you can kind of bounce back between these two powders and get that sort of a look too. I can kind of go all over the skin and warm it up with the lighter butter bronzer. And then let's see, for blush, I will put on this one up here. It's got a beautiful bit of depth and a little bit of glow too. Love it. So I'm featuring all the brands in my Walmart store. I know some people might be like, well, I have this brand and you didn't talk about it. I'm talking about what I have access to in person in my local store. Now, one thing, they are getting the brand, it's spelled U-O-M-A, it's pronounced UMA. It was first an Ulta brand, and I can tell they're putting that in, but they don't have everything there yet, and it's just not as familiar to me. But other than that, I'm covering every brand that my local store sells. Okay, I'm gonna stop there with that palette because of remaining things I still have to use, but it's a beautiful palette. I know they've got another one called Butter All-Star. This is my fave, Dream Team. L'Oreal, this was a tough one. I was really thinking about their True Match Hyaluronic Tinted Serum. I think that's such a strong product. But then I stopped and thought, do I like that better than I like Wet n Wild Photo Focus? And I don't. I'd have to say I don't rank it any higher than that. So I thought, what stands out to you most from this line? And guys, I think it's this. I think this is the little unsung hero, the little flying under the radar thing from L'Oreal, but it really is my favorite. It's the biggest standout for me right now, and it's the True Match Lumi Glow Nude Palette in the shade Moon Kissed, and it's full of these really odd little powders that don't feel like that much when you touch them with your finger, but they pick up great with a brush, and they give you just the most beautiful, absolutely bouncing off the skin, glowing highlight, but it's thin, you guys. It doesn't look like a streak of shimmer. It just looks like brightness, okay? Super brightening. They're all good. This one I've used as like an eyeshadow contour even. I know I don't reach for it as much as a highlighter on the top of my cheeks. Probably dust that one all over the skin for some all over like hourglass type glow. But I mean, name me a prettier highlight that looks like nothing on the skin. We are talking complete 100% absence of the look of shimmer particles, but it's immediate brightness on the skin. Like, it's so good. So good. I love this product. You really need to try it. It's so nice. I almost chose a brow product. It was almost going to be Brow Fast Sculpt from Maybelline, but something else came out on top. So I'm just going to do my brow real quick and we'll continue. Okay, brows are done. I just used my e.l.f. Ultra Precise Brow Pencil topped with NYX Control Freak Brow Gel. And then talking about Milani. I know you guys are gonna guess what thing it is. It really is such an important product to the makeup routine, to the longevity of the eyeshadow, to the application of the shadow and making it stand out. And I did actually have another thing that I was maybe thinking about mentioning. I thought, you know, you've talked about Milani eyeshadow primer so much. Everybody knows you love it. Just pick something else. But then I thought, no, I must stay true to the mission. The mission is, what is the single best product from each of these brands? And I have to say, it's this Milani eyeshadow primer, guys. I mean, and if you're new to makeup and you're wondering like, okay, I know I need foundation, I know I need powder, I know I need lipstick or whatever, but do I really need eyeshadow primer? That's probably something I could skip. I would say no, don't skip it. If you plan on putting any eyeshadow on your eyes, this is essential. So I just squirt out the tiniest bit. You'll have a tube for a long time because you shouldn't be using very much, okay? For it to be its most effective, thin amount all over the lid, and then I find myself patting it in my actual crease and above. It's not going to be one of those primers that really has a lot of color to it and does a bunch of neutralizing. That's not really what this one's about. You know, there will be base products that do stuff like that from different brands. Sorry, I got a hair in my lashes. But what this does is just really gives you the perfect texture for that shadow to cling, for it to stand out, for it to just do everything you need it to do. I adore Milani eyeshadow primer with all my heart. A backup is never far behind, but you're gonna see me using out of a tube that looks like this for a long time because it just keeps going, and the amount you need is so minimal. I mean, we're definitely not talking a pea-sized amount. Half a pea? A third of a pea? Not much. What was so up there for me though, from Milani, what I was really thinking of also saying was the Ungilded Most Loved mattes. Like, this is an exceptional matte palette, just outstanding. The textures in here are so good, they blend so easily. I love these warm toasty tones. I'm probably gonna go ahead and use this today just because I don't actually have another eyeshadow that's being named in this video, you know, and this technically isn't being named either. It was the primer that was the winner. But yeah, that's kind of the interesting thing is when it comes right down to it, even though I've got a ton of eyeshadows that I love from drugstore brands like Profusion and Wet n Wild and Milani, they're not coming out as the #1 product from that brand. But this is gonna be my little background product. You're gonna see me using this, and then I also am gonna move into talking about Profusion. And for as much as I love their 10 color eyeshadow palettes and also their like $5 blush palettes, so much is going right with Profusion. I feel so fortunate that they're readily available in my Walmart store. But we're talking real MVPs, the eye brushes, okay? The eye brushes, especially the Firm Blending Eyeshadow ES2 and the Small Pointed Eyeshadow ES6. I mean, these are rock stars in my makeup looks. I'm using them all the time. If I'm doing a get ready with me, these are coming out to play. This one for the crease and this one for either outer corner or smudgy lower lash line. They're my top two. If you can find them individually, that's great. I know they have a little brush trio. I'm not sure that Small Pointed is part of that, but I think this one is. Just whatever you can find Profusion eye brush wise, jump on it, okay? And if you have to look to Profusion's own website, I would probably recommend that too if you don't have access in a Walmart store. But you're gonna see those put to use today as I use this other outstanding product here from Milani. I'm gonna use some Salty Caramel. I just love this palette so much. Milani did a fantastic job with this. I believe this was an Emily Award winner last year. Really pretty. If you're one who loves an all matte look and you haven't yet tried this, just run, don't walk. That's all I can say. This is as close to a co-favorite as it gets in this video. I'm really trying to not do that and just give you one. Okay, I'm going to take a little bit of My Daily Latte, which as you can see is just not quite as bright as like the pink and the little bone color that's up there in the top row. And I can use that to just blend the edge, get a little softer. I can deepen up my crease with some of this Umber the Sun. Get it? Umber the Sun. They practically blend themselves. Then I'm going to take a flat brush. This is not by Profusion, by the way. This is by Morphe. I'm going to go into Cinnamon Spice. The tone of that shade, that warm, rich brown, mixed with a little burgundy. I love this color. I live for this color. I'm surprised there's no kittens in here this morning. They were waking me up. They were jumping up on the bed. I looked at my phone. It was 2 minutes before my alarm went off. And Rosie, I just knew it was her because it's her style, you know. She's a little more aggressive, a little more just, you know, will walk on your face type of cat. She was pretty on point. Her kitty cat instincts told her it's about time for wet food. So I've patted that shade, just that one color, Cinnamon Spice, on the lid, and now I'm going back to my crease brush from Profusion, and because some of that shade gets wedged into my crease, I go over it with this brush to help it just merge in with that whole look. Ooh, isn't that pretty? Then I'm going to use a little bit of Toast of the Town flat brush. Just let a little bit of that come in here on the inner part of my lid, just overlapping the other. It's so smooth. It's so perfected. Yeah, it's crazy that it looks as perfect as it does because I didn't feel like I was trying that hard. And then we can come in with Small Pointed and say, do we want more intensity in the outer corner? Do we want something coming down to the lower lash line? I'm going to take a little bit of Cocoa Bean right down here in the corner. I just love how rich the dark shades get, yet how easily blendable they continue to be, you know? despite being so dark. You're still getting an amazing texture. Cocoa Bean, and I'm just putting this brush exactly where I want the shadow to go. Right there in the deepest part of the crease, kind of bringing it out a little bit. I'm not doing a big swooping outer V, but I'm just, you know, letting her shine a little. Also, in the Profusion Eye Brush conversation, there is just a brush that works nice for blending. It's not pinched in at the ferrule like this one is, and it's just a little more rounded and domed, and that's a great just blender in my opinion. I'm gonna just continue with Cocoa Bean, only this time putting it on my lower lash line. Make sure you're not picking that shadow up off the side of this brush, but right off the tip. Because if you get it on the tip and then you apply that part to your lower lash line, you're putting shadow exactly where you want it to go. But if you've got it all over the side of your brush, and then you go putting it on the lower lash line, number one, shadow is not probably going where you expect it to. It could be like flaking off, you know, off the side of that brush as you move it back and forth. And then you're thinking, well, why am I not getting that concentrated color right off the tip? Sometimes we don't always talk about the way we load up the brush, but it's important. Tip of the brush when you're looking to do something like this, okay? Smoky, doesn't look harsh, just looks defined. Don't believe I named any kind of eyeliner as a favorite. Oh my gosh, it's all lip stuff actually that's left. Can I create a full look out of, it's 4 different things. Now let me say this, are there good eyeliners and mascaras from the drugstore? Absolutely. But did they turn out to be what I thought were these various brands' top product? No, there were other things coming out on top for me. What I'm gonna do is just finish up my eye look here, probably with just a little mascara, and then we'll dive into these lip products. Alrighty, mascara is on, and I'm gonna go through the lip stuff. So starting off with Covergirl. There's a lot I could pick from Covergirl. Cheekers blushes and Instant Cheekbones blushes are standing over here saying hello. Yes, I do really love those. But guys, if you were living my existence and you were in my downstairs bathroom with me and saw the frequency of use of these, like, it's a no-brainer. I use these all the time. I have every shade of these downstairs in a little, well, in a little drawer in with my skincare storage, and I just have them there so I can pop them on before leaving the house to like pick somebody up or do whatever. And this one called Bliss You Berry in particular, by far the most used. My gateway into this line was You're the Palm. I'll have to link to my TikTok where I tried all of them on for you. But this Bliss You Berry shade, yeah, it's way down there. I've been using it a lot. Think Clinique Black Honey. You'd have to build it a little bit on your lips. Like that's one go round, and I feel like that's slightly more sheer than Black Honey. And maybe even just a teensy bit deeper. It's kind of odd to say deeper, but still more sheer. But watch as I build it a little bit. It's so pretty, and it just kind of goes with everything. I absolutely love this tone. There's actually no scent in these, but I love this one. I love You're the Palm is probably second place. I Cherish You is another good one. It's a little bit brighter, a more berry red, whereas You're the Palm is kind of a warm red. But those are my top picks, and this is my definite most used. But like, it's fantastic, and I reach for it all the time. Like if what I put on at the start of the day is wearing down, I'm touching up with one of these. So yeah, as much as I love a good Cheekers blush, these balms are just really top notch, I gotta say. Now Revlon, I kind of spoiled this one earlier, but this was sort of what made me think about the video. I was thinking about how much I love my Revlon Colorstay lip liners and how they're such a small seeming product, you know, like not maybe major to the full face look, but they're probably my favorite thing Revlon makes. And Revlon makes a lot of things I like some really good lipsticks. They've done some fantastic glosses over the years. They're actually really good at blush too, which I realized not that long ago. But the Colorstay lip liners, just close your eyes and pick one. They're all so good. I love Nude. Nude is a really special one. I really like Raisin too for a deeper kind of like reddish brick type color. Chocolate is a good one for a deep neutral, but Nude is really nice because of its kind of depth level. It can be paired really nicely with different nude lipsticks and contour the lips. And see how deep this is? You know, it makes the outer parts of the lips seem a little deeper and can give some dimension if you've got like a nude lipstick or a nude gloss on there. I'm just gonna fill in my whole lips with this. Love that lip liner so much. That's a real must-have. Now from Neutrogena. Neutrogena is a brand that's home to many unsung hero, kind of under the radar, but really good products. Their Healthy Skin liquid makeup is so good. That was kind of a somewhat recent rediscovery for me, but like a fantastic, beautiful, lightweight, really fabulous light to medium coverage foundation. But then a long-standing star just came into my mind, and I couldn't let go of the idea of the Moisture Smooth color sticks. Long ago I said these are the sweatpants of lip colors, and they have equal parts practical benefit and beautiful look on the lips. They're truly effective at keeping your lips from getting chapped. I'll never forget my story of wearing this up in North Dakota in the wintertime and coming away not chapped, and all I wore were these. I have the shade Soft Raspberry here. They look pretty on the lips as well. They've come out with some beautiful shades. I'm so glad they're still making them to this day, but they are the ultimate chubby stick. And you can throw them on. I know you're maybe not getting the truest sense of the color because I'm going over a lip liner here, but super pretty. There's a luxurious thickness to these, whereas these, I think, I don't get a real thick vibe on the lips. The Covergirl ones are like a nice little sheer color punch, and they're moisturizing but never greasy. Never as thin as a lip smacker, you know, they've got their thing going for them. But this has kind of a luxurious thickness to it. This shade here is so like Dusty Rose works for anybody. Soft Raspberry. But probably better than even standard lip balms whose only job is to keep your lips from getting chapped. I would say these are even better than those in the wintertime at keeping the lips moisturized and not getting dried out, and still they look beautiful on. My loyalty lies here at Neutrogena, I have to mention that. Last thing, we've made it to the end and we're talking about Maybelline. Maybelline, another brand where I could go and say Superstay foundation maybe. A lot of different things I like from Maybelline, but probably none more than the Superstay Matte Ink Crayon. Okay, this is the shade called Live on the Edge. This is one of those nice deep colors that I find myself reaching for constantly and mixing in with different looks. It's like dark Dusty Rose plus some brick. The neat thing about these is that they give you the matte lip look, but they're thin, and they thin down as they apply to your lips, and then they do set. You'll get amazing staying power from these. Granted, not quite as hardcore as you get from just the Superstay Matte Ink liquid lipstick. Those are incredible, but these stay a little more comfortable. And also you just have this no fuss kind of like, I love this shape and size. You can refine that tip a little bit if you want to keep the point that you buy it with, but I find myself blending different shades together, pulling them in almost in a lip liner capacity to work with other products and, you know, change and adjust the color a little bit. I have so many I love. I keep them specifically stored along with the Revlon lip liners in an area very close to me here so I can reach for them and use them easily at any time. For this look, I'm just gonna like add a little bit of that depth here on top. This is a nice combo. I don't think I've used these together before. Just a little deep accent there. The shade Live on the Edge, get it and you're so prepared for fall. But they're phenomenal lip products. Like, they're the kind of thing that it could have the name Benefit on it. It could be Too Faced or whatever, and you wouldn't really raise an eyebrow about paying more for these. Like, they're worth it. They're really, really good, but I'm so glad that they're from Maybelline. So yeah, that wraps it up. Neutrogena, Maybelline, Profusion, Covergirl, Physicians Formula, Milani, Elf, Wet n Wild Hard Candy, Almay, Revlon, L'Oreal, Rimmel. That's every brand that's sold at my Walmart and my favorite product from each. I would love to hear your feedback in the comments section. Is there anything you feel like I've totally overlooked here? Are there things that you completely agree with? Let me know. This was so much fun, and it's just fun to think about things like, you know, what is the star product of each brand? And what I feel is the star might be different from what other people have to say, but I feel like I've made my case for these things pretty well. And it's crazy how many lip products really came out on top. That's just kind of how it shakes out for me. So thanks for your time, everyone. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you again soon. I love you. Bye.